Alright, so this video is going to be just going over the decks that I've built. There's a little bit of difference in between what other people run because I've been simultaneously working on completing all three of these decks here. These two decks I've had for a while, this one's new, but I've been trading like a madman trying to finish these three, all three of them, so all three of them are tournament viable. There still needs to be a bit of cleanup here and there, some testing, some sideboarding, whatever. But I kind of completed them all this weekend after going to a large event. You know, new trading pool really helps. That is a tip. If you're holding onto a bunch of cards and can't trade them, go to a new event, new people, new trade pool. Works fantastically. Also, these are all my extras, like, you know, extra deck. Basically, because it would go through too long if I did it individually, because a lot of the synchros and exceeds I do share between the three, because there's some that obviously are difficult to come by. Some I just ended up trading the extras away, so I just have maybe one or two to trade amongst the decks, you know, depending on which one I decide to run. Also, there's some holes in this deck, and I believe there's one hole in this deck from cards that I only have, again, one or two of. That right now, this deck's completed, this one's all but one completed, this one's more or less torn apart, so I still need cards so I can have all three built at the same time, but I'm not going to stress it because technically I have the cards and technically these three decks are finished. So let's go over the first one that I've had. Actually no, let's do the torn apart ones last so I can go over what is supposed to be in there. So this is the new deck. This one I finished over the weekend. Needs a lot of cleaning up, but you should be able to figure out really quickly what the deck is. Alright, here, I'll just turn these suckers around. Alright, there you go, you little bastards. Alright, so Inzektor builds. I really don't like wind-ups. I just don't. Just as a theme, I just don't like them. So I was trying to figure out ideas how to build this, and there was a video I saw some time ago where someone competed and did exceptionally well with a Mystic Tomato build. So I worked off of implementing Mystic Tomato with Inzektors. So this is the build I ended up coming out with. And traps, I'm just gonna, you know, core traps, like bottomlesses, Pots of Duality, there's a Mirror Force, Reborn, Book, Hole, Allure, obviously for this sort of deck, works well. There's Tomato, which really does work well with this deck. Veiler. Okay, so I lied. This deck had one card missing from it because I was playing with that one last night. This is a proxy for a Foolish Burial. Armageddon Knight works really well in getting him in the graveyard or him in the graveyard, and he actually works exceptionally well seeing as how I run... Where's that dickhole? There he is. I run one Gigamantis. Just, you can search it, so why not? It worked. Yeah, I really like it. There's Gores, another Knight, there's Reaper, there's a Solemn Judgment, push these things aside a bit, another Pot of Duality. I kind of like Run Sword. I don't know. It's just one of those cards I like. There's no other reason aside from I personally like it. So, whatever. There's that. Veiler, Warning, CED. I always love CED, and I will either sideboard it or main it. I love CED. Songun, Dragonfly, Tomato, Solemn, Storm, Dragonfly, and Dad. So, let's see. Yeah. So, this build, I really like this build. Effect failures, I never actually ran too many or really focused on running too many until just recently trying to get this deck running well. So, Dad helps because you can control the graveyards, you can control the number. Tomatoes help you get out Dragonfly, if you're in a bind, Spirit Reaper, get out Hornet if you really need to get someone out. You can get out Armageddon Knight if you just need to dump Hornet but still take another shot with someone. So they work really well in tandem. Gigamantis, I like the, there's one combo I've seen where it's Dragonfly, Graveyard you get Hornet, hand you Gigamantis, use Hornet's ability, blow up Gigamantis. And if you have him in the graveyard, it's awesome. 2 special summons with him, a special summon from the graveyard with him, so there's 3 guys out. And Easy Swarm. Gores, yeah. Veiler, yeah. And the spells just really work well in tandem. So this is a very base build, so I still have some work to do with it, some fine-tuning. But that's the Inzektor build. How am I on for time? 6 minutes? Awesome. Awesome, awesome. That's that build. This deck I've had forever, and I was so happy when it came back. So obviously we're talking Dark World. And I've started to fall in love with the Skill Drain Dark World. Specifically. I don't see why not run it. I mean, yeah. So we have Skill Drain Dark World, Mind Crush, Hole, Gores again, Snow, Allure, Drag Downs. This time these are actually Drag Downs and not just proxies. That's the biggest thing, it seems, between people building this deck, is how many Drag Downs and how many Dark World dealings you're going to run. I remember it was no question way back that of course you were going to want to run all the Dark World dealings you could, but as we're kind of in a different world with the game, you know, obviously the rules changed. That asshole took me like over a fucking year to get. I love you. There's a Foolish. I'll put you over here. Force. One of him. One of him. One of those. One of those. So this is the build. A lot of focus on getting out Griffa. Trance is a great discard engine. Raven is obviously a great discard engine. I like having one of the biggies, silver or gold, in the deck. I prefer silver because I prefer that hand control if I can get the secondary ability. One celery just because multiple celeries, unless you're focusing that on the deck, tend to bog you down. But one isn't actually that bad, I find. I find I use his effect more often than not. And he's, again, just another body to bounce for Griffa if need be. Spirit Reaper for some stall. I do run Sangan to get Bro, Raven, or Celery, Trance. And that's all you really need him for. You either need a discard engine or you need something to bounce for Griffa. Works fantastically. And he's a fiend for the Gates of Dark World. I run 2 Drags and 2 Dark Worlds because they both have really some solid positives to them. And there's no real negative to really running 2 and 2. One Pot of Duality, which not everyone runs in Dark World just because of all the special summon, but it's good to have in hand if things are dead. If you're in trouble, if you really need something, it's Pot of Duality, you know? If you're not going to do anything else, use it. Smogs, I love Smog. Fucking love Smog. So it's 2 Smogs, 2 Skill Drains. And is there anything else I haven't gone over? 1 Terraforming, yeah. Yeah, that's the Dark World build. I've actually had a Dark World deck built ever since it first came out and never actually tore it apart. Loved the idea behind Dark World. Kind of sad I'm running a deck without gold in it, though, because I just kind of like throwing multiple 2300s through a discard. So 10 minutes? Alright. And the last deck, actually I need to put out the cards from here that I took out for this deck, which I believe for Pot of Duality. Took out a Solemn Fort, another Solemn, Mirror Force, Bottomlesses. I believe that's it that I took out. That should be 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I did. Oh, that's right, because I traded for the Solemn. Alright. So, these empty spots are those cards. Alright. The rest of the deck, of course, is scraps. Love me some scraps. Go with your Spear Reaper. I just find I've been using Spear Reaper like in every damn deck, just because I just end up needing to use him. Let's see. One Searcher, which the Searcher does need to be replaced. I think your Proxy. It's been a while since I made the list of what is proxied in that. I do run Heavy Beast, some Heavy Control in there. One Golem. I know the Golem's staying in there like that. Yeah, King Tiger. I love King Tiger in this deck, and I'll explain why. Born. Oh, that's right. You're still in there because I still need to find something to replace you with. Searcher's there just kind of for the meantime. This is a proxy for him, because I still can't trade for 3 of him, which I plan to run in this. Weissel, I love in this deck so much. Call, which might end up getting replaced sometime in the future. So there's a scrap deck. So 3 Chimeras, 3 Beasts, 1 Goblin. Just because it's in this deck, it's a searchable, can't be destroyed by battle. Mech Lord, because you're blowing things up. I've never had him stuck in hand. Oh, I'm sorry. Once. But 90% of the time, get him out. Yeah, it's worth it. Spear Reaper, Gores, Cyber Dragon works really well in this. Golem and Searcher. Golem I'm going to keep. Searcher needs to replace with something, as much as I love Searcher. 2 King Tigers, which are fantastic in this format. Shut down a lot of wind-up, shut down a lot of Inzektors, or at least force them to have to deal with it first, which makes them spend resources. 3 Thunder Kings. I run 2 Scrapyards. I run 3 Scrap Storms. I'm tempted to take it down to 2 Scrap Storms. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to put in its stead. Call still works well in the deck, as much as I really don't run it much in the other decks. Horn of the Phantom Beasts, fantastic in this. Starlight Road, Solemn Judgment. There's some very basic, like, taking these decks apart, things that I should really be putting in the other decks. But I don't know. There's parts of those decks that really just, I kind of like them on a personal level. That's my biggest problem when I build decks, is there's some cards I just grow attached to, and it's hard for me to not put them in a deck. Alright, now as for the Exceeds that I have, and the Synchros that I have, this is just a generic pile. Some of them you can tell which decks they go to. Others I might explain. But as I use the same pile of Exceeds and Synchros when I build my extra decks when I play games, it makes more sense for me just to show you all of them. You need to come out, actually, because I got you guys to replace that. And I can probably drop this Scrap Twins down quite a bit. I think it was more the fact that it took me so fucking long to get all those Scrap Twins. I just didn't want to take them out after all that damn work. And we'll put you over there, because you guys know what he is. Alright, so 34 is more in case, because I have Giga Brilliance and I have 17s mostly for the Inzektor deck. But just in case the opportunity arises where he'd be more effective, I want to keep at least one in there. I know I'd get criticized for that. Exabeetle, I do really like Exabeetle. He's in there because it is entirely possible and easy for most Inzektor decks to be able to get him out. But it's usually you're sacrificing using Hornet's ability again. So he's in there when the opportunity arises where I will need him, because I know that will come up. And I know in my top 5 I named him right up there with the Inzektors, and there's part of that I still stick with, that I think Inzektors, in order to go further as just Inzektors, they need stronger Exceeds. There need to be stronger Exceed Inzektors for them to be able to prosper better. Dark Highlander for Dark World, again for Dark World, for Scraps, for anything. I think Scraps the only one with Cyber Dragon, though he still finds his way into others. Dark World, any, one of these for any. Yeah, I think that's all 3 of the decks. So that's what I have built. Of course, I'm still looking for other cards for these decks. But I need to figure out what cards I'm going to need after all the trading I did this weekend. If there's any questions, or if you just want to tell me how stupid I am with one of these builds, feel free to tell me. If there's something you want to see if I have, maybe try and trade it, feel free to let me know. Or if you just want to talk, again, let me know. Thank you for watching the video.